Well, hello from Shane Healy. I'm here at the Australian Catholic University with Senior Lecturer Dr Joel Hodge. Joel, welcome.
Thank you.
And lovely to have a chat and a very interesting discussion. Just in the last day or two, we've had the opening in a series of discussions and lectures around the Plenary Council coming up. Well, it's really underway, the whole process. Can we talk first about the first one, which has occurred just on Wednesday night, and then we might look ahead?
Yes. Well, the first one was spoken by Reverend Associate Professor Orm Rush, and it was on the Church of Vatican II. What is the Church? What is the view of the Church, particularly after Vatican II? What does it mean to be a church that is talking together in a way that's collegial, dialogical, that's synodal? So talking about all those really key issues about what does it mean for us to be a church in the kind of modern period after Vatican II.
Okay, so one down, three to go. And part of our chat today is really to urge people to come along, maybe to one or all of those sessions. I think you're giving the last one.
Yes.
Maybe you could talk us through what the next three are going to be about.
Sure.
And folks, if you're wondering about the name Dr Joel Hodge, yes, you do read him in the Melbourne Catholic magazine quite often. So Joel is really part of the team. But what is coming up now in the next three sessions, and where are they being held?
Yep, so they're at ACU in Victoria Parade, Fitzroy, and the next three sessions are around the issues to do with the Plenary Council. What are some of the key issues that might come out with this Plenary Council? What is the Church looking for, perhaps, or what might be some of the issues that might come forth from the Church in this consultation phase? And Dr Nigel Zimmerman, Dr Gemma Cruz are going to speak to that next Wednesday night. They're both on the Plenary Council Executive, and they're both here at ACU in different capacities. The third week is looking at the future of Catholic institutions. What might the Plenary Council look at with regards to Catholic institutions, particularly Catholic education? And Associate Professor Robin Horner and Dr Paul Sharkey from Catholic Education Melbourne are going to talk on that evening. And then the final evening is myself. Yes. And on that night we're thinking about very broadly what might be the mission of the Church into the future. What can the Church do in Australia into the future? How can it renew itself? And we're going to have a listening and dialogue session in that last session as well, so people can give their views and talk about their faith in the context of this Plenary Council journey. And that will feed into the Plenary Council consultation. Oh,
excellent. So you've been probably hearing, folks, quite a bit about the Plenary Council. The first phase is underway. This is the listening and dialogue phase. So maybe let's start right from the beginning and make it as simple as we can for folks, because it's the first time I've been involved in something like this, and probably, I guess, yourself as well, because I think we're talking 80 odd years since there was a Plenary Council in Australia. What actually is it, and what's it looking to achieve?
Yeah, so the Plenary Council, it is a rare event. It's been 80 or more years since we've had a Plenary Council in Australia, so they are rare events. They're a great opportunity for people to feed into the Church. What do we need to do now for the Church and into the future? So that's going to be really key for everyone to be able to take up their voice and say, what does the Church need to do now to renew itself? Yes. Because we're at a pivotal point in our own history. A Plenary Council itself technically is a legislative body. It's an assembly of dioceses coming together to talk about issues that are in common, and it has the power to actually form legislation for those local dioceses.
I see.
So it's more than a synod in a sense, or more than a synod that occurs within a diocese. It's an actual gathering of dioceses that can legislate for the local church here in Australia, and that forms part of local canon law in Australia. So that, I think, the legislation part is not probably the absolute most important thing. It's just to say that the Plenary Council does have an official canonical status and power within the Church, and it is going to be an important way. It's an important way for the bishops and the Church in general to say to everyone, we really want to take seriously this gathering of people now and we want to come up with some really serious, well-thought, well-considered proposals for what the church should do to renew itself at this point in time in Australia.
So, for those people who haven't really got their heads yet around the Plenary Council, and that's probably plenty, it's asking one quite specific question,
Yes.
which, having had a look at it myself, is not the easiest question in the world. So let us know again what the question is, and then how groups are beginning to maybe try and take that apart a little.
Yeah. So what is God asking of us in Australia? That's the kind of key question that the Plenary Council facilitation team and executive have put before us as a way to focus our attention on what should we be considering now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think, meant to help guide us to put the focus on God.
Mm-hmm.
How is the Spirit moving now in Australia? What is the Spirit asking of us in Australia now? What should we be doing? How is God calling us to be a people of God in this place now? And so it's putting the emphasis on God's action and God's call. And so it's asking us to listen to God now, not just to listen to all the different issues and grievances and ideas that people have, which are all important and all should play their part. But how do all those ideas and issues form part of what God is calling us to? And how do those ideas and issues come to resonate with the deep call that God is making of us now in Australia? So it's asking us all to take that deep question and then to say and to vocalize what might that mean for us, and what might we think that means for the church in Australia now, and use that as a way together to come up with some common voices, I think, to help the church discern what is the key ways forward.
So look, one more question for Dr Joel Hodge. We're talking about the Plenary Council and a series of meetings coming up, and we'll summarise those again in a moment. But the process then with all this dialogue, how's it being done? Are there groups coming together?
Right.
And then how's that information going to be synthesised, if you like?
Right, yeah, so it's going to be a lot of information. So the first phase is for groups, as you say, to come together, parishes, dioceses, groups like ours here in the university, where we're bringing together people to talk and think about what the Plenary Council means.
Right.
So all of that is being done right now and will be done throughout the year into early next year. And there's a form on the Plenary Council website actually that helps people to work through the process of doing listening and dialogue sessions. It's very simple.
Yes.
And then they can feed back whatever they have done as individuals or as groups to the Plenary Council executive and facilitation team through the website. And so that people are asked to put their feedback through the Plenary Council website. All of that's going to be collated and analysed, and out of all of that data, the Plenary Council executive and team will try to, I think, draw out some of the common threads, and that will be put forward towards the gathering in 2020 of representatives from each of the local dioceses.
Yes.
Well, that will come together to consider that all that feedback, and they'll start drafting documents that will hopefully represent and try to crystallise some of those key issues. And in 2021 there'll be the final gathering of those representatives to come and put their stamp on some final documents to present to the church in general.
Wow, it's going to be a lot of information and
Yes.
a lot of work over 2 or 3 years, but it's a pretty exciting process. So just take us again through the 3 sessions that are coming up, where, and maybe also a bit of detail about the Plenary Council website,
Oh, yes.
if you're able to do that, John.
Yeah. So we've got 3 weeks left. Wednesday evening, 6 till 8 p.m. So the 8th, the 15th and the 22nd of August are what we've got left. And so Dr Nigel Zimmerman, Dr Gemma Cruz next week on the 15th, talking about some of the key issues of the Plenary Council. On the 15th of August, we've got Robin Horner and Paul Sharkey talking about the future of Catholic institutions and education. And then on the 22nd is myself talking about the future of the mission of the church and having a listening and dialogue session. So people can register for those sessions for the whole short course still, and they're very welcome to do so. They just have to come to our website, acu.edu.au/theology/short courses.
Okay, acu.edu.au/theology/short
courses.
Dr Joel Hodge, many thanks.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with the course. It sounds wonderful.
Thank you very much.